And a new bill making its way through the Michigan House is trying to help businesses that'll soon pay more in unemployment taxes.
Fox 17 problem solver Ryan Cummings is live to explain why a Republican lawmaker is proposing it. Ryan?
Guys, the unemployment compensation fund dropped, as we reported, at the end of June, and that triggered an automatic tax increase for every single business owner here in Michigan starting in January. Now, this new bill would change the law to not penalize companies if the governor shuts them down using an executive order.
Let's just face it. Businesses right now are struggling. There's a lot of uncertainty.
Amanda Fisher is with the National Federation of Independent Business. She testified Wednesday in front of lawmakers in support of House Bill 6136. It basically says if the Unemployment Compensation Fund, which pays claimants, drops under a certain balance due to a declared state of emergency, the taxable wage limit would not be affected.
We are concerned, number one, that a lot of employers are barely hanging on. They're having to invest a lot more in things like PPE.
And when businesses shut down, they are not paying into the trust fund, but employees still take from it.
Eventually, employers are going to have to pay it one way or another. But we think giving them a little grace period is crucial to keeping the economy going and to keeping people employed.
Obviously, we are going to have to pay it, but let's try to get back on our feet first.
Brian Clote is thankful for the legislation and supports it. He just opened his 8th Great Clips location in Michigan and expects his unemployment tax bill next year to be $3,000.
Even though you may be working hard to reduce the tax penalty, if another sector, such as automotive manufacturing that went in the early 2000s and had their recession, they were causing a lot of unemployment, even though I wasn't. So the unemployment system had to borrow money from the federal government. And that increased my taxes, even though I did not cause any unemployment.
As we reported back in July, the compensation fund did drop below $2.5 billion at the end of June. And according to state law, that means a tax increase for all employers starting in January. More money that they'll have to shell out even if they did not make as much profit this year. Some, of course, are still shut down due to the pandemic.
So when we're making a decision as critical as shutting down businesses and people's livelihoods and their jobs. And for some, we're going on 5.5 months now. So if we're going to do that, I think it should really be a collaborative process.
Representative Matt Hall proposed House Bill 6136. He says if the governor, male or female, makes a unilateral decision to shut businesses down, companies should not be responsible for higher taxes if the trust fund drops.
What I think is important is when a governor is making that decision, am I going to go it alone using emergency powers? And am I going to shut down businesses for an extended period of time, which is what it would take for that number to drop that low? I want to know that, there will be a consequence of that.
The legislation will be discussed again next week and then go in front of another committee before being voted on in the House. Now, I did reach out to Governor Whitmer's team for comment to see if she would support this, but I have not heard back. Live in Grand Rapids, Ryan Cummings, Fox 17 News.